Welcome to this first Basics of Sikhi podcast. My name is Sukhdeep Singh.
And my name's Karanveer Singh.
And let's get ready.
Yep, let's get straight into it. So, what's the aim of these podcasts?
The aim of these podcasts is to teach Sikhi, to spread Sikhi in a different way, in different format.
Yep.
So, obviously, we have the formal talks that we're doing, the katha, the discourses, but this is like so informal and we could just have a conversation. And when it comes to the Sikh faith, contemplating upon certain topics is very powerful and just dissecting that topic. What about yourself? I know this was your idea initially, right?
Joint idea, I would say.
I like that.
Yeah.
50-50.
I think the exact same is a way for us to reach a new medium, a new audience of Sangat, a new way to do prachar in like a fun, informal way. And I hope we can expect some good stuff in the future. Like what kind of ideas have you got?
Ideas I personally have are kind of a bit more traditional in terms of historical stuff, factual stuff to do with Sikhi, even things to do with like sports and nutrition and stuff like that, getting in some cool guests. But I know for you have some crazy ideas of what you want to do.
Well, whenever we come across like some interesting news story or something, it's always like, oh, we should talk about this. We should make a video about this.
Yeah, you keep telling me all the time.
Yeah. So there was one that came up recently, which was the CIA brain reading thing. Do you remember what it was?
It was to do with meditation or something.
Oh yeah, that's it.
So you're trying to make me put some kind of Sikhi spin on it or something like that.
The CIA did tests back in the 1980s. And they were testing basically about spirituality, and they were measuring people's brain waves.
Okay.
And seeing if they were like, these were people who claimed to have out of body experiences.
Okay.
And what they actually found, there was some evidence of some kind of spiritual thing happening when they were doing all these kind of tests. And then only recently they released these documents.
And you think people want to learn about this on our channel? On this podcast channel?
Well, I think it'd be interesting to talk about.
Well, let's see how things go then for the different topics that we cover going forward.
Yeah.
And then if you get your way, you get your way. But I'm quite stubborn and it takes a lot to convince me. But on that note, we're starting off with the first topic, trying to keep a bit religious and stuff like that. And that is with the podcast on who?
Guru Nanak Dev Ji.
Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj Ji. So just getting straight into it.
Yep.
One really interesting point is that Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj Ji was born in today's known as Pakistan, right? So that's a very interesting fact that I don't think a lot of people know, especially when I grew up in a Punjabi household, not really into Sikhi at all. Especially, that like we say that beef, that kind of...
Yeah, between Indians and Pakistanis.
Yeah, for those who know what beef means, it means that the fighting, right? It's a lingo here in the West, in this London area, the fighting between the Pakistanis and the Indians, and didn't know that Guru Nanak Dev Ji was actually born on that side of Punjab.
Yeah.
So you've been to Pakistan as well?
I've been to Pakistan, yeah. I went last year.
And how was that experience?
Well, it was different. It was an amazing experience, like compared to when we usually go to India and stuff. Like just the whole atmosphere and environment there is so different. It's got a different feel. Because you're stepping into a place which hasn't really been modified much.
What do you mean by modified?
Like for example, if you go to India, any of the historical Guru Kaaraj, the Gurdwara, have been changed quite a lot. In terms of like Kaaraj Seva Babe, they come and knock down all the old historical architecture, all the old like monuments, and they rebuild in like modern marble structures.
Like you have here in the UK.
Well, actually in UK we have the listed building system. So I'm sure you know about that. If there's a building which has any kind of historical significance, the government gives it like a rating, a grading, and you're not allowed to actually change the structure of the building, like the outside appearance.
Okay.
So if that actually happened in India, imagine the kind of things we'd have existing today, like from the Guru's times, from Maharaja Ranjit Singh's time.
So we don't have nothing like that in place then, where we can kind of preserve these historical sites?
Well, we don't really have anything in place as a Panth as a whole. But I mean, going forward, we could start to put a plan into place.
Okay.
But the thing is, who would be there to enforce it? Because the way it works now is the Kar Seva Babe will get the contract and they'll bid for it from SGPC, and once they get the contract, then that's it. They just make their money and they just destroy it and redo it.
Wow.
So
and you gave one example. I remember when I was talking to you a few months ago, there was these American Sikhs who were preserving a Gurdwara Sahib.
So in Pakistan, because it's been quite untouched, because obviously they don't have that much influence from SGPC from the Indian side.
Yeah.
So a lot of the Gurdwara have just been shut for like over 70 years. Literally no one's been going to them.
Okay.
And then recently for Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Gurpurab last year, 550.
Okay.
There was a US organization which went to Pakistan, and which Gurdwara Sahib was it? Joa Sahib.
Okay.
And at that Gurdwara Sahib, they've got the rights to do the restoration work.
Awesome.
So they've got like the best historical architectures experts in, and they're going to actually do all the painting and everything and actually make it like how it originally was, how we should be doing restoration work for all our old Guru Kars.
And that's really cool. And just even the idea of you going to Pakistan, because in my head, I would have never thought in my life that I'd go to Pakistan. Only when I started coming into Sikhi and I started to learn that there's actually so much history there.
Yeah.
Right. So how does it compare to India? Is there a difference? There's obviously Punjab is split, right? There's Punjab in India and there's Punjab in Pakistan.
Yeah.
But when you go there, is it hostile? Because like we spoke about initially, there's kind of always been that kind of heat and tension. But when you went there, what was it like?
Actually, there wasn't any hostility, and there was so much respect. The actual Pakistani people respected Singh so much, and I felt like they came up to us and they'd be like, Sardar Ji.
No way, Sardar Ji.
They would proper address us.
Don't get that here.
Yeah, they would give us so much respect, and they'd be like, come over to our house and eat some food. We'll cook you some.
And did you ever go?
Dinner. Well, it depended on the schedule of what we were filming and stuff. But we did go a few times to a few different people's houses. It was really nice, really welcoming.
Was there many Sikhs there?
Not really. We met maybe a handful of Sikhs.
So then when you look at the Guru Kars, the Sikh place of worship in Pakistan, then who is looking after them? Is it the Sikhs then, or is it like a mixed thing? What's going on there?
Well, it was mixed. So like for the past few years, it's been the Pakistani Gurdwara committee, and then like there's a few Sikhs that live around the Gurdwara, a few families, and they'll do the daily seva. But then interestingly, there's a lot of Muslims that actually go to the Gurdwara and do the seva.
Wow.
So like at Dera Sahib in Lahore, which is Guru Arjan Dev Ji Shahidi Asthan, there's a sad thing about that as well, I'll tell you in a bit. But the Rababis used to come every day and they do Kirtan there.
Okay. And the Rababis being
Muslim Kirtanis.
Okay then.
So they were like Bhai Mardana was a Rababi.
Okay.
In the same sense, these were the, like you could say, from that lineage.
Yeah. Okay then. And what about, so even when you went into the Gurdwara, you see like Muslims praying then?
Yeah, so you would see Muslims there praying. But what actually happened is when I went there, because they're starting to open up more, there was actually a Kar Seva Baba there at Dera Sahib, and he had started knocking down stuff.
Okay.
Well, not him, but the workers had started. And when I was just trying to take pictures and stuff of like the Gurdwara Sahib and the environment, and they were trying to stop me because they were like, "Why are you taking pictures of the work?"
No way.
Because they know themselves is wrong. Like they're knocking down walls that were from Maharaja Ranjit Singh's time.
So this like 200 years ago.
Yeah. So that like historic architecture, they're knocking it down and then they're just going to build marble structures in place.
Man. And that's the kind of point I was just trying to take the conversation down. Besides the whole Kaaraj Seva side and the restoration work, but even just the whole idea of Muslims and like this enmity that we see, even today, you can kind of feel it in the Sikh Panth as well.
Yeah.
Like I know you've done a lot of work with different faiths, especially when it comes to things like Kirtan as well, and inviting Muslims to the Gurdwara Sahibs. Even here in the UK, in central London, right? Shepherd's Bush Gurdwara.
Yeah.
What's central?
Central Gurdwara Khalsa Jatha. So shout out to them because they always support whatever project we have going on.
Yeah.
And there was an instance last year where we called Shafqat Ali Khan, who's like a famous singer, classical singer, to do Kirtan at the Gurdwara. And when it was all planned and the event and the posters went out, we actually got a lot of backlash for it because people were like, "Oh, only a Sikh can do Kirtan at the Gurdwara."
Yeah.
And but just because he's a Muslim, they're saying that he can't come and sit in the Guru's Darbar and do Kirtan. But then if we look at it historically, that was actually the case. There was Muslims that used to come to Sri Harmandir Sahib, Sri Nankana Sahib, all these main Itihasik Gurdware had these Muslim Rababi musicians come and do Kirtan. And that started from Guru Nanak Dev Ji's time.
Hanji. And that's just on the side of Kirtan, just singing, doing singing and singing God's praises. But even if you look on the side of discourses and doing Katha, you'd have Pandits who are from the quote unquote Hindu background, and they would come and give discourses to the Guru. And the Guru would literally call them themselves and say, sit down and share some history with us. Right. So this whole thing today of being boxed off, the way we look at the Sikh faith, and you can't do this, you can't do that.
It's crazy because we say Gurbani, the Guru Granth Sahib Ji is for everyone, for the whole world. But then we're saying, oh no, you can't sing Kirtan, you can't sing Gurbani because you can't praise Guru because you're not Sikh, or you don't tie a pag, or you don't have your full case. But that's totally wrong. That's against Sikhi. That's against what Guru Nanak Dev Ji started.
Hanji. I saw this video a few weeks ago, actually. One of the Singhs sent it to me. And it was really cool. It was like this Muslim father and his daughter. And it was just a video. It was like a music video or something. But like a dharmic one, a religious one. And what happened was that she was saying to him, "Where are you going?" So he was leaving the house, right? And he said, "I'm leaving to go and praise Guru Nanak Dev Ji."
I've seen this. That, yeah? I've seen it. Is it like the Sufi?
Yeah, something like that. And then I think it's in a historical Gurdwara as well. I don't know. It looks quite spooky in the lights and stuff. But he's like, I'm gonna go and praise Guru Nanak Dev Ji until like I please them or I get their darshan, I get to see them.
Yeah.
And when I heard that one line, I was like, that's Sikhi.
Yep.
I was like, wow, because for me, when I heard that is what Sikhis talk about, praising the Guru. And the amount of love he had was that he was saying that I'm going to praise Guru Nanak Dev Ji until I have their vision. And that was so powerful. And that was a Muslim on saying that. Of course, it was just a video, but it made so much sense. And that's something that is lost today, that we get so caught up in the nitty gritty, but we forget this point, which is so powerful.
And the sad thing is that it was actually our own people who pushed away all of these like historical traditions. Like, for example, there's a story of a Rababi called Bhai Rababi.
Okay.
And he was the Hazuri Ragi of Anandpur Sahib. So he would, if I just tell you his daily routine.
Just before that, Anandpur Sahib being as in where Guru Gobind Singh Ji set up the Khalsa Panth.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay then.
So
that's
imagine that, where the Khalsa Panth was set up, was created. There's a Muslim doing Kirtan.
Wow.
Every day. That was his duty. And his family had been doing it for many, many years, going back to the Guru's times.
Okay.
And so Bhai Rababi, his daily routine is he would wake up at Amrit Villa and he would recite Sri Sukhmani Sahib part. And then he would go walk to the Gurdwara Sahib and he would sit and start Sri Asa Divar, because that was his duty every day, to sing Asa Divar. And just on that note, he would have it all memorized as well.
Wow.
So all of these baniya, these quite long, and he had memorized them and he would sing them with so much love for the Guru. Only after that, he would go and start his daily routine, his job. But sadly, what happened in 1947 is, because of the whole partition and the split, he had to move to Pakistan.
Okay.
And as he was on that journey migrating to Pakistan, the Muslims of the area caught him and they said that you're that Muslim, you're that fake Muslim who goes to the Sikhs and sings at their Gurdwara. So they killed him, basically.
Why, Guru?
And the sad thing is, the Sikhs didn't protect him, the Muslims didn't accept him. So where do they belong?
Wow. And you wouldn't think that about the home of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, right?
Yeah.
With the whole topic of this podcast. And this is the thing, that everyone has love for Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Even when it comes to like 550 years that we celebrated in 2019, the whole world celebrated Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Gurpurab. The whole world, you'd see pictures of Muslims and Hindus and Christians and everyone. And you don't really see that with many different prophets or saints. The whole world comes together and celebrates their coming on this earth. And it shows who Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj Ji is and how powerful and what kind of impact they had on this earth. And just on that point about Pakistan, just to go over it a little bit more, even when Guru Sahib Ji took Prakash, where they were quote unquote born, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, like that Asthan is so beautiful.
Yep.
When you go there, and I remember just looking at the history written by Kavi Santokh Singh Ji, a great Sikh scholar, about how Guru Sahib Ji would run through the village.
Yep.
Right, and they'd have like these bangles on their arms and their legs. And when people see Guru Nanak Dev Ji
As a child,
about 5 years old, and they were in awe of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. They were amazed by Guru Nanak Dev Ji at such a young age. And what is cool is that even then they were already doing stuff that was out of the ordinary.
Just to stop you on that point, it's so crazy to imagine Guru Sahib Ji like that as a child, because we always just think of Guru, when we've been brought up, we see Guru Nanak Dev Ji as like the old person with the white beard, with the walking stick, and they've gone and done all the udasis. So what's your take on that?
Well, I remember we spoke about this a while ago, and you found my comment quite funny. The idea that yes, we see Guru Nanak Dev Ji as this old man that's a bit overweight, right? No disrespect, but that's what we see in the pictures, right?
Yeah,
like the kind of artist impression. But Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj was nothing like that, right? Most of their journey was in the younger age, in their 30s, for example, right? When they went on their Odasiya, when they went on the 4 or 5 travels around the whole of the world and different galaxies, right? Which is another topic in itself. But the point is that, we don't really realize that all the stories that we probably hear about Guru Nanak Dev Ji happened when they were younger. And just this one, when they were like 5 years old, even then they're very witty and they're very loving with what they used to do. That they used to go into their house and take the clothes, take the pande, the dishes and the jewelry, and they'd give it to the poor people. So they were already very giving at such a young age. And right, if I did that in my house, I know what I'd get, a chapera, right?
Yeah.
But obviously Guru Sahib Ji special, right? Yeah. But even then, their Mata Ji threatened them. Mata Tiripta Ji, who is the mother, that look, there was a panda there was like a dish there, and now it's disappeared. What have you done with it? Yeah. Right? So she even threatened to hit Guru Nanak Dev Ji at that time. Yeah. But then luckily Guru Sahib Ji's Chacha Ji, who was called, do you remember their name?
No.
Bhai Lalo Ji.
Yes.
So you got Bhai Kalu Ji and Lalu Ji, sorry. Yep. Bhai Lalu Ji was their Chacha Ji. Yep. So their father's younger brother. Well, and luckily they kind of had their back in it and they didn't get slapped at that time.
Yeah.
But the point here is that, you can go to those asthans today. You can go to those places, and I've only been to India, right? So when I go there, there's certain places I can go to where I feel like, my Guru was here.
Yeah.
Even though it's been built up again. Like one example is Fatehgarh Sahib, where the Chote Sahibzade became Shaheed. Yeah. Guru Gobind Singh Ji's younger sons, when they were bricked alive and then they had their throats slit. But what is it like then going to Pakistan, where things are a bit more like, they look more authentic, that's the word. What does it feel like there?
Well, I think this is a really important point, because a lot of people nowadays speak bad about pilgrimages.
Okay.
Because they say, oh, it's like a ritualistic thing. You're going to these places, but God is everywhere, right? They always bring up this point.
That comment all the time, God is everywhere.
The thing is, though, when you go to these places, you're going to see the actual places where the Guru walked, where the Guru spoke, and all these stories we hear about when we're growing up actually happened. And when you see that with your own eyes, it just builds a whole new level of shraddha, of faith. And I think that experience is unmatched. So you have to go to these places, definitely, and actually see it with your own eyes.
And even just going to Asia, whether that's India or, other places in Asia, just personally, I felt more connected. I felt it's easier to even meditate and to have a clear mind.
Yep.
Although today, that side of the world is getting very modernized and stuff like that. You can see all the billboards. That's just one example of, how it's getting so modern. But it's still, it's just a different feeling, connection there.
Even Sri Hazur Sahib.
Yeah.
The amount of power you feel there.
Yeah.
Because all the saints, so many saints went there from Nanaksar, from Tuksal, and they did so much bhakti.
It'd be cool to have a podcast on Hazur Sahib.
Yeah.
Just on Hazur Sahib.
And
we know some good people as well. That'd be great for that podcast.
Yeah.
So, if anyone wants to see that, then definitely put that in the comments, because that'd be great to talk about Hazur Sahib. But not to spend too much time on Pakistan, and Nankana Sahib, Raipur ki Talwandi, where Guru Sahib Ji was brought up. They didn't stay there for that long, and they moved to Sultanpur Sahib, which is in Punjab, India today.
Yeah.
And you've been there as well?
Yeah.
How many? You've been there quite a few times, or just,
to Sultanpur Sahib maybe twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So only when I knew about it, I started going there, because again, that's where Guru Sahib. That's the second place where they stayed after leaving Pakistan. Obviously, in those days there was no Pakistan, India, but that's where they stayed with their sister Bibi Nanaki Ji, right, and her husband Bhai Jairam Ji. And what's really cool is that when Guru Sahib Ji stayed there, it was mainly because of the relationship they had with their parents, especially their father, Baba Kalu Ji. Right? And the thing is that Guru Sahib Ji, you can relate to today's world, because parents want their kids to be a certain way, right? Do certain jobs.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened to Guru Nanak Dev Ji. They wanted them to be a patawari, an accountant. They wanted them to earn a profit. And these are things that we kind of see in the Punjabi community today. But what we have to realize is that our Guru faced those things as well. Many of these topics that we talk about today, if we actually read our Guru's history, a lot of our Gurus face the same kind of obstacles we face today, even family feuds and issues, and even to the point where some family members try to kill the Guru.
Wow.
Your own family members.
Yeah.
2 examples, don't want to go into it, but one of Guru Tegh Bahadur's cousins, the 9th Guru, they tried to shoot them at that time, right? They're a group of people, and it skimmed Guru Sahib Ji's forehead, the bullet.
Yeah.
Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, our 6th Guru, their Taya Ji, who is Baba Priti Chand, Guru Arjan Dev Ji's older brother, they tried to poison them and kill them many times.
I agree. Yeah.
So, a lot of these things we can learn in our history. But when Guru Sahib Ji went there to Sultanpur Sahib, because, their parents couldn't get them to do what they wanted Guru Nanak Dev Ji to do, what happened then was that they thought, let's get Guru Nanak Dev Ji married.
Oh.
So Guru Nanak Dev Ji, when they were Sultanpur Sahib, if you can't control someone, just get them married off, basically, right?
Yeah.
So Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj Ji was going to get married to Mata Salakhani Ji in Batala. And what's very interesting about, and this is a whole topic in itself, right?
Yeah.
So I know you like your controversy as well. So maybe we can start poking you a bit as well and seeing what you want to talk about. But this whole thing about weddings, man, Anand Karajas and stuff like that, it's such a big topic, man.
It's a modern thing, right?
You think it's a modern thing?
The Anand Karaj ceremony we have today,
Yeah.
is quite a modern ceremony.
Do you think it's the influence from the West? Because what I've read, I remember a while ago, especially when you're around, like when I was around my sister and she watches certain types of TV shows and stuff, it's like the wedding industry is such a big industry.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money, right? If you look at the media, they love covering these kind of topics as well, right?
I think definitely, like, even if you look at the Gurdwara now, you have to have, like, the bride comes in with the bridesmaids and they all have flowers.
That's not a Sikhi thing, right?
No, all of this thing is just new.
Westernized.
Western influence.
They've got to have that walk in it.
They have to walk in.
It's just instead of here comes the bride, you've got to keep them instead.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
But the whole ceremony of walking around Guru Sahib Ji, that is actually modern, Hana. Because usually what was done historically was in India in that time and place. Because obviously we have to think of everything in the context of the time and place.
Okay.
It was done around a oven, which is a fire.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I like how you just chucked that point in, because I remember a few years ago, even in this office we're sitting in right now, the same thing came up. Because I've always been taught that Guru Nanak Dev Ji walked around Gurbani.
Yeah.
But then you get this other kind of perspective where they say Guru Sahib Ji walked around the fire.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm guessing you're more for the fire side.
Well, personally, it doesn't really matter to me.
Oh, I like that.
Because the main thing is what we do now isn't wrong. Like when we're going around Guru Sahib Ji.
Hanji.
Like there's so many beautiful reasons why we do that.
Okay.
Like for example, we say Guru Sahib Ji is the center of our world. That's why we do parikrama of them.
Hanji.
So it makes sense that we're doing it now. And if every single Jathebandi, every single Sikh group has agreed to this way the ceremony is done, then what's wrong with doing it? Even the historical places like Sri Hazur Sahib, the Nihang Singhs, the Puratan Samparda, all of them have agreed.
Okay.
So it's not a big deal to me.
I like that. I definitely don't disagree with you. At the same time, just to kind of give a bit of a different perspective, again, this is just us opening up the topic and just do some vichar, because again, some people may not even like that comment. with what you said about, the fire and stuff like that.
Well, it's not me who's saying that. Let me be clear.
That's a good point.
That was written in the historical...
Many historical
grants.
Definitely. Yeah. But at the same time, there are historical grants that write differently, and they write Gurbani as well.
Yeah.
Well, and this is again where it's many different perspectives, but this is good because again, I can agree with that is the case. But of course, my vichar is a bit different according to what I've read and what I've listened to as well. Because when it comes to Guru Sahib Ji walking around the fire, again, Guru Sahib Ji did a lot of things that were out of the norm and went against many of the different ritis and different traditions at the time. So when it comes to this fire tradition, yes, it was very common in those days. And we cannot dispute the fact that even after, if we said that Guru Sahib Ji walked around Gurbani, it didn't mean that after that, every single quote unquote Sikh walked around Gurbani, because it took many years for this to change.
Yep.
It took many generations. That's why Gurus came in 10 generations, right? You can't just change something in a go. Yep. Hence why Guru Gobind Singh Ji made the Khalsa Panth, the 10th form of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, after 200 years.
Yep.
230 years, 1469 to 1699. That's 230 years. Took a long time. But when it comes to Guru Sahib Ji walking around the fire, the perspective that I'll give, another side. So if you look at, just to give the sources, I won't give all of them, but one is by Mani Singh Ji's Bhagat Ratnavali Granth. Another one is Gurpurab, Siddhi Gurpurab Prakash Granth. These are also historical granths as well, scriptures. And they say that Guru Sahib Ji walked around Gurbani. And the reason for that is because when somebody walks around the fire is seen as a witness. Like, in today's world, we have somebody has to witness the wedding, right?
And by fire, you mean the Devi Devte?
Yeah, people say that as well. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but they say that when you do quote unquote fire worship, the Havan, that the Devi Devte are present to accept that by the demigods. There's a lot of them, 330 million, right? But it depends on who they're worshipping. But they say they are witness to that wedding for that he and she that's getting married at the time. But the Sikh Guru Nanak Dev Ji saying that my witness is Gurbani, it's the Guru, it's Vaiguruji. So that was one of the reasons why they walked around Gurbani, and it wasn't 7 times that the Hindus do, right? It was 4 times.
Yeah.
Right, that they walked around the fire that we see today, right? That we walk around 4 times. And the point here is that was developed over the years. You got a third Guru, Guru Amar Das Ji, who then changed it to Anand Sahib.
Yep.
Right, so Anand Sahib is a prayer that a lot of Sikhs read every single day. So they'd walk around Guru Amar Das Ji.
Yeah.
Right, and then Guru Ram Das Ji Lava the part, which is famous today, right? And that was continued then. And there's many examples of that taking place, right? Where they'd walk around the Guru. And then Lava the part was then introduced by a 4th Guru, Guru Ram Das Ji. But just an interesting point on when it comes to Guru Nanak Dev Ji walking around Gurbani. People may debate that point, which is fine. There's definitely 2 sides to it. But then there's Kand Sahib.
What's that?
Kand Sahib, Kand in Punjabi English means wall, right?
Yep.
The wall looked like it was going to fall. So at that time, when this marriage is going to take place and Guru said refused to go on the fire, the families finally agreed to it. But Guru Nanak Dev Ji, the Brahmins, the priests who are going to do the wedding, they're like, we can't do this. We can't change this. So we have to do something about this. So they thought to themselves, look, there's this wall that Guru Nanak Dev Ji is sitting under. They go, if we push the wall over, we'll kill Guru Nanak Dev Ji. And there was just like this auntie or this bibi at that time, this old lady. And she came and she warned Guru Nanak Dev Ji indirectly, saying that, they may chuck this wall. This wall may fall, is what she said. Mm-hmm. You should maybe move away. But Guru Sahib Ji said this wall will never fall. And that Kand Sahib is still there today. And that is in reference to why Guru Sahib Ji went around Gurbani and not around the fire.
So I guess that's like physical evidence towards that.
Yes. A big physical evidence. Well, again, as well as the historical sources and many saints who would agree with it as well. But again, it's not something we need to fight over.
I think though, it might be a controversial point.
Yeah.
We might be better off nowadays if some people did a Havan wedding. Only because a lot of people, when they get married, they don't know what they're doing anyway.
Yeah.
They don't know what the Gurbani means or anything. And like there are people who aren't really into Sikhi in that sense. It's just because like their parents have told them to do it. And so they're doing it.
Yeah.
So in that sense, if they were to do it, it'd be
It's just a ritual then.
it'd be less biadbi, I think.
It'd be less beyond, less disrespect, but it's all a ritual then to a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
And this is the issue that we really want to, I want to focus on, because I thought about, let's talk about weddings in this podcast. But this is the issue, is that when it comes to Anand Kaaraj, it's people don't know why they're doing it.
People who have no interest in Sikhi are just doing it because it's like, that's the Sikh wedding.
Yeah.
That's the ceremony we have to do.
Again, it goes back to the whole thing about, marriage and it's not about Guru Sahib Ji. Because one thing that is very interesting, and I remember doing it once on stage and everyone started laughing, because look, we spend thousands of pounds on a dress.
Hundreds of thousands on weddings.
Yeah, so much money, right? Like my cousins, one of them spent like £100,000 on a wedding.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. Well, they didn't spend it, their parents probably spent it.
Yeah.
Right? And goes a bit off topic again, but one of my friends once said to me that his friend was offered this thing was put in front of him by his parents. We'll either buy you a house or you can have a big wedding party.
Yeah.
Guess what they picked?
The wedding party.
Wedding party. I was like, you're crazy, man. Your friend is crazy. Why would you pick that for? Why would you not pick the house? That's an investment.
Yeah.
That's going to go with you. That's going to help you and your family in the future, right?
Yeah.
But they blew it all on one day.
Yeah.
And what do you think most of it goes on?
Alcohol
And DJ, right?
Yeah.
DJs charge so much money. No disrespect to them, but like they spend a lot of money on DJs and stuff like that, right? When it comes to Guru Granth Sahib Ji, how much did they spend on Ramala Sahib?
Probably £5.
5, 10, 15 pound, 20 pound.
Yeah.
On the whole point of the wedding was for Guru Granth Sahib Ji. It was to become one with the Guru. That's why we're here. That's the only reason. The reason why we get married is Bhai Gurdashi says to us, Gyanan me gyan ara, Dhyanan me dhyan, Gura, Sakala Taram me grihist pradana hai. That means that the highest type of gyan is the Guru's gyan, the Guru's knowledge. The highest type of concentration is concentrating on the Guru. But they say the highest way of living is to live in a householder's life, to work together to meet the one, to support each other, to see God in that individual.
So actually, we've lost that focus, that the main focus should be the Guru, and actually getting married is just a way to help you, is a path to help you.
To
get to the Guru.
To get to the Guru.
So actually, the main focus isn't the couple getting married, it's your journey connecting with the Guru and as a couple together. There's a really nice analogy that about the triangle and the two lotus flowers facing the sun. And if they both face each other, then actually they won't get sunlight and they'll die obviously and drown. But then if they face the sun, they grow up and they flourish together and they get closer together, even though they're facing towards the sun.
Because they're getting closer to the sun, they're getting closer to each other.
Exactly.
Because you're getting closer to the Guru, you're getting closer to each other.
Yeah.
And just that point of when Guru Bani says, Ek Jyot Doi Murti, that there's one light, but there's two bodies. Talk about the couple,
Yeah.
but that light inside you is the Guru.
Yeah. That line is very commonly used for the couple, that's saying that you're now becoming two bodies, becoming one soul.
Yeah.
But actually, you can even apply it towards the Guru. You say that you're becoming one with the Guru.
100%. So like, if you just look at the Pankti, they're saying, Tana per ehe na akhya na, don't call them a husband and wife, behen akatte ho if they just sit together. Doesn't make, according to Guru Bani, right? They say, Ek Jyot Doi Murti, Tana per kahiye soy, that is a husband and wife where there's just one light. Now that one light is obviously between them two, is one light, but what is that light? It's the Guru. It's Vaheguruji.
And very commonly, Guru Sahib uses that analogy of husband and wife between us and Vaheguru,
Yeah.
as we are the soul brides
Yes.
trying to marry the husband Lord.
Hanji. But the point here again is it's just that light. And this is the point that on that day you're having the opportunity to marry the Guru. But we don't see that again, just in the actions, right? You could spend thousands of pounds on all these other things, but on our Guru, it's just like, oh yeah, on the day we're going to walk around, quote unquote, this book. But that is the most important part. That is our life. That is the isht of many people. And that's why when you read again history, which I keep banging on about all the time, people gave everything for the Guru. They sacrificed their life for Guru Granth Sahib Ji, right?
Yeah.
Everything. Guru Granth Sahib Ji is sent to their life. That's why you get to walk around Guru Granth Sahib Ji 4 times. And people today are complaining about who gets to walk in front and who gets to walk in back. Just get over it, man. The main point here is that you get to walk around Guru Granth Sahib Ji and the Guru Granth Sahib Ji is center of your life.
Yeah.
These are the things we are so focused on the wrong things, and today's world it's like, but this is the essence. And on our side, it's not just us here complaining.
No.
Well, it's not me complaining to you about it, because it
causes so many issues.
But we've put things in place though. We've got an Anand Kaaraj course.
Yeah, basics. Shout out to basics for that.
Shout out to basics on the Basics podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got a Anand Kaaraj course that we've been delivering for the past 3 years, where we educate people on the Anand Kaaraj.
Yeah.
Saying that if you're gonna do this, this is what takes place. And what's really cool is even one Gurdwara Sahib actually put that in their contract. So when you get married at any Guru card, you have to sign a contract.
Yeah.
So they put in there, as well as all the other things you have to tick,
Yeah.
that in any other contract probably, they put at the bottom, you have to go on the Basics of Sikhi Anand Kaaraj course.
Yeah. And so they have to like pass the course
Yes.
in order to do which makes so much more sense if every Gurdwara Sahib implemented that system, because we'd have so many less problems, and then the couple would actually know what they're doing as well.
Definitely.
And it would build so much faith with them.
Because a lot of issues that we have with interfaith marriages, we can't really blame the couple or the family. It's kind of like, why didn't the Guru Kar say anything to you?
Yeah.
But then again, on that side, that's the education, right?
Yeah.
That do we understand that when you're doing an Anand Kaaraj, you're walking around Guru Granth Sahib Ji,
Yeah.
right? And you're given an oath. You're taken upon an oath, and you're saying to the Guru that I bow to you and I'm a sacrifice to you as well.
Rather than going to doing destination weddings at hotels.
Well, yeah, that's a big topic in itself, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to destination weddings. But this is, there's a lot of ways of tackling those issues. And the way that we take it is knowledge is power, right?
Definitely.
Arm yourself with knowledge. And if we just educated people, then a lot of times they wouldn't bring up these points. Like one of my close mates, another Guru Singh, he's a teacher. And he did a topic in school, because it's cool. I think it's like a Christian school, like the Catholic schools, but obviously a lot of Catholic schools today, you have a lot of Sikhs and other people going there.
Yeah.
And he has a Sikhi club in that high school.
Wow.
Really cool, right?
Yeah.
And one day he did like a debate topic, and it was about Anand Kaaraj. And should Sikhs allow interfaith Anand Kaarajes? And he goes, at the start of the talk, a lot of the kids said, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, whoa. He's already kind of walked into it.
Yeah.
But he didn't tell them that this is not correct.
Yeah.
Right? He just kind of let them understood the whole essence of Anand Kaaraj.
Yeah.
And then they naturally started to say, actually, no. Right? Actually, this is not the case. Because
So now you've touched it, we're going to have to talk about it. Interfaith marriages.
Well, bye.
What is the reason then? Why did the kids say no?
Because it's this whole idea of equality.
Equality.
Right? That Sikhi is all about equality, which it is. But equality is different to what we think equality is. It's not the same equality where everybody can do the same thing. It's everybody has an equal opportunity, right, to connect to the one.
Yeah.
But people have certain duties, right? And some people are closer to the one, and some people are further away, right? But it's like, just because everybody can come have langar, it doesn't mean that everybody can walk around Guru Granth Sahib Ji and do the lava, right? Because that requires a commitment to the Guru.
Yep.
You got, even when it comes to Amrit Sanchar, if you look at the 5 Sikh ceremonies, not everybody can do an Amrit Sanchar.
Yep.
Not everybody can. A random guy off the street can't just go to Panchpad and say, I want to give my head to you, give me Amrit.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that, right?
And so you're saying the Amrit Sanchar, Anand Kaaraj ceremony, the wedding, is the same category as Amrit Sanchar, in the same caliber as that?
Well, it depends. I don't know if you'd use the word category or caliber, but at the end of the day, you're still taking an oath to the Guru. You're not marrying each other.
Yeah.
You're marrying the Guru as well. And that's what you have to remember. So it's different. It's not like any other type of ceremony or wedding. It has its way, and it has its things in place.
It's like you're committing to the Guru, but it doesn't make sense if you have multiple Gurus, if you have multiple teachers.
It's hypocrisy.
Yeah.
And these points have been raised many times in the past. I know I've been in debates for an hour or 2 hours just sitting there listening to going in circles, right? So I'm not here to convince anyone. But the main point here is that if we educate them from Sikhi from the start to the present day, then a lot of these questions will be answered themselves. But people don't want to be educated. They just want to do that. They just want to tick that box, get married, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that is the key point here that we're trying to get across. It's that marriage with Vaiguru. Even in the lava, it's about dharma drid ho. It's about taking upon that righteous way of living. And even after you get married, it's about that spiritual path. So I'll give you one kind of interesting, funny story with that. Is when Guru Nanak Dev Ji got married, whichever way you want to agree now, whether it was Fire or Guru Bani, the main point is that when Guru Sahib Ji got married, it was about marrying Vaheguru Ji. And when they got married, their wife, Mata Salakani Ji, was not very happy with Guru Nanak Dev Ji.
How come?
Because Guru Nanak Dev Ji didn't stay at home. Guru Nanak Dev Ji would go out, they'd serve the poor, they'd work hard, and they'd make sure that everything was provided in the home. But Mata Salakani Ji wasn't happy because they didn't have that kind of love and affection with their husband, like how many couples may have, in terms of just like, laughing together, spending time together. So what did Mata Salakani Ji do? She complained to her parents. And I won't go through all of it, but one interesting part was when she complained to her mother, Mata Chandorani Ji. And she was saying that, look, Guru Nanak Dev Ji doesn't spend time at home. So Mata Chandorani Ji complained to Guru Nanak Dev Ji's sister, Bibi Nanaki Ji, and said that, look, Guru Nanak Dev Ji doesn't spend time at home, and she's proper going into one with Bibi Nanaki Ji. And what Bibi Nanaki Ji says is mind-blowing because it even relates to today. So what she says is, I'll just read the English out, I'll have the Punjabi here as well. But they say that, how can I samjha to Guru Nanak Dev Ji that they're doing something wrong? How can I say to Guru Nanak Dev Ji they're doing something wrong here by going out and working and earning a living and serving the saints? Why? She says that Guru Nanak Dev Ji is not doing anything wrong. They're not stealing. They don't hang around with thieves. They don't gamble. They don't drink alcohol. Right? So if I just read Joop na khelata, sura na pei. Joop na khelat, joop means gambling. Na khelat, to play. Sura na pei, sura means sharab.
Yeah.
They don't even drink alcohol. They don't even hang around with other women. Right? And have affairs and adultery. Right? They don't indulge in these kind of things. They're not greedy. They're not angry.
They never raise their voice.
Yeah. Right? So how can I tell them off? What is Guru Nanak Dev Ji doing wrong?
It's crazy you're saying this, because thinking about it nowadays, these are all really big issues in the Punjabi Sikh community.
100%. That's what Bibi Nanak Ji is saying, that how can I tell them off? They're not doing nothing wrong. You've got everything you need in the house, right? And all the Guru Nanak Dev Ji is doing is serving the saints. They're not doing nothing wrong. But today, that is the issue. Again, I'm just doing Padachar myself, being exposed to many different types of people and families. I've even been in situations myself where I've had family members who are not happy with me because their child is now not doing what a normal teenage kid does. Go out and, have fun and play football and, probably start drinking when they get older. Yeah. They go into the God that they drink Seva.
So they're angry at you because their kid's not, they're going to the Gurdwara and doing Seva.
Yeah, and they're not, and they're doing part and stuff like that.
Instead of like,
and they're keeping their hair and they wear a turban on their head now.
Yeah.
That's
crazy that.
We have to realize that we can't just say to kids, look, we never say to kids, be rude to your parents, first of all. You can never talk back to your parents. We never promote that.
Yeah.
And I do understand when kids come into Sikhi that they can come a bit hard.
Yeah.
Like they start, cussing everyone else and like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to go to weddings, parties.
Yeah.
Drinking is bad. You shouldn't be doing this. That is the wrong way of going about it. Creating a good picture, right, for the family of what Sikhi is. Is this what this does to kids, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's got to be from both sides.
Yeah.
Especially in today's world, right? Because we know that, kids don't have that respect for their parents in general.
Interestingly enough, I remember when we listened to Sri Nanak Prakash Katha from Ustad, majority of it at the start is just Baba Kalu ji telling Guru Nanak Dev Ji
telling them off.
And every time Guru Nanak Dev Ji just like, they never speak back. No sign of retaliation or anger or ego or anything. But
in the world we live in today, that's not the case.
No.
People talk back. Look in schools.
Yeah.
I spoke back to my teacher all the time.
I can imagine.
That was a good one. I once got detention for yawning.
Really?
For yawning in my science class in year 8, I think.
Yeah.
For yawning. Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's not justice.
That's not justice, right? Yeah. That's not justice. Dharamraj is going to hear about that, right? But the point here is that it's very different. But Guru Nanak Dev Ji's sister explained that if you want to please Guru Nanak Dev Ji, then you have to do Seva, Simran and Sangat. And that is the foundations of even Anand Kaaraj today, is you're doing it together now. You're not on your own anymore.
Yeah.
You're living together in a household, and together you're working to get closer to Vaiguruji.
Yeah.
That is the difference. Right. So
I think a lot of people, just to add to that, forget that Guru Nanak Dev Ji was God.
Hmm.
They were the form of God on earth.
Hanji.
And like they do these things to set examples for us.
100%.
And we should try and strive towards that, right?
I like that point. It's good you raised that, because a lot of things that we see in history, we may think that how come they fought like that, these people, but it was to teach us. It was to teach us how we need to live our lives. That's why we read history.
Yeah.
People like to cuss history and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's for us to learn from. That's the importance of the history. Take the essence, the thought from it, from that history. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji didn't just stay there, right? So there was two main places where Guru Sahib Ji started off, right? You got Pakistan and Ghana Sahib, and then Sultanpur Sahib in Punjab. But Guru Sahib Ji then continued, and they were going to go on a big journey, right? Traveling around. But it's quite cool because they set, whenever they did something, they just did it in the biggest way possible. And this kind of helps me because, we do Prachar and we do the Seva, right? We can never please everyone.
Yeah.
Right? You just look at the comment section, right? Just to put it out there, we do read the comment section.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I'll roll my eyes at some of the comments.
Yeah.
And it's like, just don't even bother replying. And it's like, would you say that in face to face to someone?
No.
Do you think they would? Most of these people.
No, it's keyboard warriors.
Keyboard warriors, right? It's like, what are you on about? Just sometimes like, what are you on about? Just don't get irate by it. But it's like some people are just crazy with what they type, right? But then when you look at Guru Nanak Dev Ji, they didn't please everyone.
Yeah.
A lot of people try to kill Guru Nanak Dev Ji. They chuck stones at Guru Nanak Dev Ji when they went to certain places. And one example of that is when they came out of the river, Nadi, and then Guru Nanak Dev Ji was going to leave on their travels.
Yeah.
And it's a big build up. And do you know the famous line, what they say when they come out of the river? Everyone knows it.
Na koi Hindu, na koi Musliman.
Right?
Yeah.
So that was the famous line, but that was said many times. They didn't just say it then. They said it a few times afterwards because people were like, did they say that? Like, it's like the Guru Nanak Dev Ji actually say that there's no Hindu, no Muslim. You know what that means, right? As in, what was the context in why they were saying it?
Well, I thought I did, but then recently I found out that the term Hindu has actually changed its meaning.
Okay.
So originally, the term Hindu was given to the people living in that area, in like the Indus Valley area, rather than now how we think of it as a religious term. And actually, it was in modern times when the British and the colonizers invaded India, they gave that term of Hindu to the people living there as like an organized religion.
Okay.
So it's changed, it's developed over time. And even if you look at Bhai Karan Singh Nabha in Mahan Kosh, when they give a definition of Hindu.
And Bhai Karan Singh Nabha is like a really big scholar as well, right?
Very big scholar.
Yeah.
So if you look at the context of that time, Bhai Karan Singh Nabha actually makes multiple points. And firstly, they say that the term Hindu was only used as the people living around the Sindhu River. But then secondly, he says, we don't know where this meaning of Hindu has come from in a religious sense. We don't know where the root of it is, but certainly it developed into that. Because even if you look at a lot of modern Hindu scholars nowadays, or like famous ones like Swami Vivekananda, he actually said that term is a modern term. It wasn't in any of the Vedas or the Shastras. And all of those Shastras were actually different, like opposing to each other. So the 6 Shastras, they all say different things.
So when people say to us that you're a Hindu,
it's like quite a broad term.
Yeah.
And so it slowly developed into the term that we think of it as now as one organized religion.
Yeah.
So when I think of it at that time, when Guru Sahib Ji said it, na koi Hindu, na koi Musliman, the way I think of it is na koi Hindu in the sense there's no one living up to the Indic practices.
Okay.
The Indic religion, religious faith practices.
Okay.
And then there's no one living up to the invaders, the Musliman. Because many times when Guru Sahib says Hindu in Gurbani, they also say Turk.
Yes.
And so Turk isn't a religion. It's a geographical location. So we can always relate it back to that the Hindus were the indigenous people and the Turks were the invaders.
Yeah.
So Maharaj was saying there's no one living up to these their faiths of the indigenous
the
people,
practices that they would have, right? And that's exactly what it is. Of course, they weren't saying that there's no such thing as a Hindu or Muslim, because of course these people did exist. It was that they weren't living up to their practices. So it's that thing, because all the time we get these comments of people saying, even when you're in school, and that Guru Nanak Dev Ji was a Muslim, Guru Nanak Dev Ji was a Hindu, all these kind of topics. But if we ask Guru Nanak Dev Ji themselves, we can see what they have to say about it, what they have to say about these faiths as well, right? Because even people start to question us about our own scripture. And what's interesting is that if we don't know our own history, if we don't even know our own scriptures, and these people from different faiths, they know their own faith very well, but they know more about our faith. They probably know more names of the gurus than we know. Some, like if you look in some of our families, you don't even know names of their 10 gurus, right? So they know so much. So when they start chucking a bit of information at us, we get startled.
Yeah.
And we're like, whoa, what's going on? I remember when I was in school, I was told I'm going to go to hell if I don't become Muslim. And they did affect me, I ain't gonna lie, back in like year 7 or year 8, when I was like 11 years old, 12 years old, right? But luckily I didn't convert, right? But the point here is that they're very clever at how they question us.
And I think if you look at the video of Bhai Singh and the Muslim, what's his name? Dawa man?
There was bare of them, man.
When they had the debates.
Yeah.
Those are like some of the most interesting videos.
Everybody watches them.
They're the most viewed on the channel.
That wasn't like obviously the kid stuff. Yeah. But the point is that nobody wants to learn about Gyan, right? In terms of Sikhs, right?
Yeah.
Which is what it is, right? People like watching the controversial stuff.
Yeah.
And that's that was very clever how Bhai Sahib Ji did that, right? It wasn't to debate. It's because they knew people were going to come in to the channel through that stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously to tackle the issues, but there was many reasons why Bhai Sahib Ji did it. But even that was probably one of the first videos I watched, the Hanslow one.
Yeah.
Right, with the Dawah man, the rhetorical devices guy.
Yeah.
But then that kind of then channeled me through to all the different kind of videos.
Yeah.
Which I enjoy watching more of. Of course, that stuff is so entertaining to get some popcorn. But if you look at the Hyde Park ones, there were like times, because I was there as well.
Oh really?
I was the cameraman.
Oh wow.
Check me out, right? Yeah.
So that's why it was shaky. That's why we can say now.
It wasn't shaky.
Yeah.
It was windy sometimes, actually, to be fair. Look, you wasn't there, right? The conditions were not good.
Yeah.
There was sometimes our hands were frozen.
Yeah.
So you can imagine Bhai Sahib Ji standing on top of that, like it was like a little ladder he stood on. It was cold. But the thing is that I got to see everything.
Yeah.
And what people used to do and what kind of questions they used to ask. Why did Guru Nanak Dev Ji say become a good Muslim? And I actually have a shabad on that as well.
Yeah.
The Guru Sahib Ji says that. Interesting about this shabad is that they said this after saying that there is no Hindu, there's no Muslim. Right? Because people ask us, why did Guru Nanak Dev Ji say to become a good Muslim? Why become this kind of Muslim? But they don't realize that there's a context to that. That they said that after saying there is no Muslim or no Hindu. And what happened then was that a Muslim priest came and spoke to Guru Nanak Dev Ji. So this shabad is actually a conversation between Guru Nanak Dev Ji and a Muslim priest. So, when it comes to Gurbani, we can't interpret it in just one way, because Gurbani is just like an ocean. So just some things to point out, we'll see through the Shabad. First of all, Gurbani is poetry. It's meant to be sung. And we know with poetry, there's many different poetical devices that are used. So there's many ways you can interpret that. That's the first thing. But then you got to look at the context, which we just talked about for this Shabad. There's many different things that we have to take into account. Right? Who is Guru Nanak Dev Ji? Who is the Guru speaking to?
The Othanka.
The Othanka is another point. The background, the story. What was the reason for reciting that? So we've got three things now, right? We've got poetry, context, background, story. Then you got to look at the entire Shabad. You got to look at the whole prayer. You can't just take one line out. One of my favorite examples is from Japji Sahib. Ketiya Murakha Kahi Khai. That means many fools eat and eat.
Yeah.
That someone could make that to a fat joke.
Yeah.
Right? That people overweight are fools.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that at all. So you can't take one line out of context. Another thing is rag. Is that the musical measure?
And I think Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji is probably the only scripture, like religious scripture, which has been categorized by rag, by music.
By music.
Which is so beautiful.
And on that point, as you know, because I know you enjoy your rag kirtan as well, different rags invoke different emotions.
Yep.
So if you've got one message from the Guru in two different rags, that emotion can portray that message in a different way.
Definitely.
So if one rag, if you got someone saying be quiet,
yeah,
if I said it to you in a happy tone, be quiet.
Yeah.
It sounds a bit weird, right? But you won't get offended.
yeah,
If I said it in a serious tone, be quiet.
yeah.
It's different. The message
That didn't offend me either.
yeah, whatever, right? Because I'm such a nice person, right? But the point here is that the message is different because of the tone it's sung in. So there's so many different ways that we can look at Gurbani, even the reader themselves. Who is the Guru speaking to? So we can't just look at one aspect. So when people come and they try to translate Gurbani, Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj Ji,
And actually, you missed out one thing. The way it was written, the grammar and the actual letters used.
yeah, that's another thing as well. So again, look, now we're just chucking ideas at each other, different things.
Yeah.
It's so beyond. It's endless. Gurbani is endless. But if you just look at the Shabad now, did you find it on your phone? So if you look at the first line, I'll read the Punjabi, you read the English translations.
Yep.
I'll read the Gurmukhi. Musliman ka havan muskal, ja hoye ta Musliman ka have. What does it say?
It says, it is difficult to be called a Muslim. If one is truly a Muslim, then he may be called one.
What does that even mean?
No idea.
No idea, right? Musliman ka havan muskal. That's fine, right? It's difficult to be called a Muslim. Ja hoye ta Musliman ka have. What does it mean here? It means that if you have these qualities, then you could be called a Muslim. But you ain't going to find in the English translations. Ja hoye means if you have those gun.
Yeah.
But where are you going to get those qualities from?
Is it further?
It's further. So there you go. Now you can't just take the first line.
Yeah.
So you've already tackled the point about context and reading the entire Shabad.
Yeah.
And we talked about Tanaka. Right? So Guru Nanak Dev Ji one day didn't sit on a rock and say, this is how you become Muslim.
Yeah.
They told the Muslims there's no such, you're not following your own faith.
Maharaj went to the Hindus, the Siddhs, so many different places they went to, and they tackled all these issues directly, face to face.
It wasn't just sitting in their room one day, they said it.
Yeah.
They went there and had these conversations. Like if you, just to go off topic quickly, because you mentioned it now, it's good you mentioned it about the Hindus and the Siddhs. When Guru Sahib Ji says to the Siddhs, Munda Santokh Saram Pata Choli, they're saying to them, Munda Santokh, make your earrings the earrings of contentment.
Yeah.
So does that mean if a Sikh reads that, he starts wearing earrings?
No.
No. It means that you'll make your earrings the earrings of contentment, that you should take upon contentment in your life.
Yeah.
So here, the Guru is saying, focus on the qualities.
So even though Guru Sahib Ji was directing it towards those people, we can still take something from that message.
Gurbani is for everyone.
Yeah.
Of course, we have to look at the context. They're speaking to somebody, but Gurbani is for everyone. So then it's how do you apply that into your life? Because I'm not going to wear earrings.
Yeah.
I used to wear earrings back in the day.
Really?
Because Munna days, before I was Amritari.
Yeah.
Right? Both ears, right? Representing. But the point here is that we take upon the gun, the santok. So that's why also the reader has to have some mat.
Yeah.
The reader can't be ignorant. A lot of these people are just ignorant who translate in a silly way, but you got to have that babek buddhi, have wisdom.
It depends on the intentions of the reader, right?
Definitely as well. Intentions are important.
at Hyde Park, obviously they had intentions to put down Sikhi.
Definitely.
So they would say all these shabads
out of context. And if we just look at the third line, so don't skip the second line, the avvala aul. Look at the third line. Now read that to me. Can you read that to me now?
Hoye Muslim deen muharna maran jeevan ka paramukh chukawa.
ठीक है. Right? So when somebody does their Santhya, so this there you go. This is another point. Yeah. Now you have Santhya.
Yeah.
That means the correct pronunciation of Gurbani. Now this comes in Marj Givad, if I'm correct. Does it say on your Marj? Does it say Marj there?
No.
ठीक है, but I'm sure it's Marj Givad, right? Comes near the start of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Hoy, you said Muslim.
Yeah. It says that as well in the
English. The translations, right?
It says, yeah.
It's actually Musallim.
All right.
So it's Kaske, right? Yeah. It's pronounced with an addak.
Yeah.
So it's not Muslim, it's Musallim. And
what does that mean then?
It means steadfastness.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean Muslim.
Okay.
So if just one day, a random guy came up to you and said to you, Gurbani says, what does the English say? I haven't got it here.
It says, becoming a true Muslim, a disciple of the faith of Muhammad, let him put aside the delusion of death and life.
But it doesn't mean Muslim. It means steadfast.
So what is the full meaning?
So hoy musallim, that one who becomes steadfast in their taram, deen mohane, in the practice of their faith, to their ish, to their beloved. They go Mardana jeevan ka param chukka, where they lose all kind of delusion of life and death. It's talking about that love that you have with your isht, with your peer, your guru. Right? So look, it's just completely different meaning.
And I think one more thing that we forgot about is the language that Maharaj used to speak in. Because depending on who they went and met, if it was someone who was Farsi or Persian, then Guru Sahib would speak in that language.
There you go.
Or they would speak in Punjabi or Hindi or whatever it was.
They were here for everyone.
It
goes back to the start of the podcast that Guru Nanak Dev Ji is not just here for one type of person. Guru Nanak Dev Ji is here for everyone. So this blows my mind, right? And obviously they spoke to the Hindus as well. So again, when people say they told the Muslims, they said how to become a good Muslim, so you should become Muslim. But then if you look later on, they say to the Hindus how to live the life of a Hindu. Like you said earlier, in terms of those practices. Right? Again, kind of putting everyone into one. Again, the qualities are universal.
It's not that, like, Guru Sahib Ji did use it in a broad sense of the people of that faith in that region, but the way we think of it now is quite different because we've been brought up with a Western lens.
Definitely.
So the colonizers organized and categorized everything into that's that religion, that's that religion. But so in that sense, if we try and look outside of that lens, then we can kind of understand what Guru Sahib Ji is
just
saying.
Don't be boxed off, basically, right?
Exactly.
And they say later on, a few Shabbats down, a few prayers down, they say, Hindu mule pule akhutti jahi. Like even the Hindus have lost their ways as well. They say, all these people, you've all lost your ways, which if you read the history, they have. And one really interesting thing that they say is, they say, Pathirale puja hai mugd gawar. They say that you worship these stones. They say, oh hey, ja aap doobe. They say that what you're worshipping is drowns. The stone drowns in water.
The idol. So what's going to happen to you then? If you're worshipping something that's going to drown, then you're going to drown as well. Right? So look how powerful their teachings were. Guru Nanak Dev Ji's, and how that changed the way that people think. And that links on to when Guru Sahib Ji then traveled. But they didn't travel on their own. And it's crazy where this is going because it all links back to the start that we're so boxed off because when Guru Nanak Dev Ji left, one of their companions, Bhai Balaji, who is the other companion? Bhai Mardana.
And what were they?
They were Muslim.
Right? So even for Sikhs who push other people away, but even for people of different faiths, we've all got it wrong. We've all got it wrong. It's not about your labels. It's about your qualities. It's about that love. And I know you did a lot of research into Bhai Mardana Ji as well. So tell me some stuff, man. I know you went to Pakistan to research Bhai Mardana Ji as well.
So when it comes to Bhai Mardana, it's so amazing, the history, because Guru Sahib Ji chose them and they were from a Marasi background. And they actually used to sing. They were employed by Guru Nanak Dev Ji's family to sing and memorize the family lineage. So like going back to father, grandfather, great-grandfather.
What's their father's name?
Baba Kaludi.
Grandfather's name?
I don't know. That's not my job, okay?
That's not my job.
That's your job.
That's not my job as a Sikh to know my Guru's grandfather's name, right?
Yeah, well, you tell me.
Baba Shivanam Ji.
What's their father?
Great grandfather. Something like I actually had to give it to someone a few days ago. One was that Lakpat that I came up. Other one was like Ram Narayan, Baba Ram Narayan Ji.
Yeah.
So these were the names of them. But Hanji, carry on with Bhai Mardana Ji. So they knew all these names then that we're struggling to say right now.
Yeah, so they would have memorized. That was their job, like to serve the family in that way. And such an amazing thing is that now we say Bhai Mardana, but what does Bhai actually mean?
Very respectful term.
It's a term which means brother.
Brother, very not like Veer or Baji.
Yeah.
Very respectful.
Very high respected term. Only like the highest people get that term around the Guru. And Guru Sahib Ji gave that term of Bhai to Bhai Mardana, saying that you're my brother. So that's so amazing. And then they took Bhai Mardana around the world with them on all their travels. And there's so many stories you can hear in Sri Nanak Prakash of when Guru Nanak Dev Ji took Bhai Mardana.
So when you look into the whole Rababi tradition, and when it comes to like just Ra Kirtan, like just tell me a bit about that, because I'm kind of more along the, you know, like the today's kind of Kirtan, the kind of Bollywood. I'm kind of like I got those kind of feels in it.
So how it worked was, the gurus chose the Rababis, so like Bhai Mardana, and then their descendants carried on the tradition.
Okay.
So it was called the Guru Shish Parampara, which is quite common in India.
What does that mean?
Which means teacher, student. Guru, teacher, student. Quite a rough translation.
Okay.
But that tradition was actually in all areas of knowledge. So like artists, calligraphy, weaponsmiths, they would have this ustad student relationship where the family the ustad would teach to his children, who would then pass it on to their children. And so the Rababis, they did this from Guru Nanak Dev Ji's time. And so it goes down to like Bhai Satan Balwand, who were quite famous Rababis.
Guru Arjan Dev Ji's time.
Yeah, because of Ram Kali Ki War. And then a lot of these Rababis, they would actually accompany the Guru to their darbar. So they would be singing in like Sri Harmandir Sahib, the Golden Temple as we know it today. And for hundreds of years, it would be Rababi singing there. You would have half the day being sung by Rababis who from Muslim background, and then the other half would be done by Ragis who were from like the traditional Sikh as we think of them now. And then it was only until the early 1900s that the Rababis got kicked out of Darbar Sahib and from all these historic places.
So are there any Rababis today then?
There are still Rababis, and that's what we were trying to track down in Pakistan, because a lot of these Rababis that migrated to Pakistan, obviously there was no demand for Kirtan to be sung because it's majority Muslims living there.
Yeah.
But because they were so talented musically, they went and got other jobs in like the music industry, like the film industry. And so when we went to Pakistan, we tried to find those people who were left.
Yeah.
And that's another big topic as well, the whole patronage system, which is when a patron gives support for a type of art to flourish.
Okay.
So like...
But doesn't that kind of go against the whole Sikhi thing about Seva and doing things without asking for money?
Well, it depends on your intentions, right? Like if you have the intention of, I'm going to do this because I want to make so much money, or I'm only doing this for the money, then I guess then maybe not.
I'm only asking because with our Seva that we do, the same thing, people ask us the same question as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
So like, I just want to hear your opinion on it.
Well, what I've been taught is that when you do any type of seva and the Sangat gives you like any kind of beta or money, it's your duty to take that because that's the Sangat's blessing. They're giving it to you.
Right, Guru.
But at the same time, you should do it with nishkam, which means without desire. So you do whatever you do in life, do it without desire.
So that's really interesting. You're saying nishkam and without desire. So that's got nothing to do with money then as well then. So it's even beyond the money, nishkam.
No, because the gurus didn't only give money. They gave like clothes, elephants, gold, everything to the first Akhand Path Sahib that ever happened. The Bhai Singhs got like so much wealth. And even if you look at Mahakavi Santokh Singh, the Raja of Kaithal actually gave him a whole village.
A village.
Just for writing like a Pothi Sahib.
Well, they wrote amazing, it was amazing stuff that they wrote.
An amazing thing they wrote. But like the way we value it now is so different. They value the knowledge that time so high that they gave him like a massive area of land, a whole village.
Wow. So what is it like then meeting these other Babis today and seeing what they're like? What is it like seeing them?
So it was really nice to see the Rababis in Pakistan that were really trying hard to get back with the Sikhs. So in the sense, they would learn a lot of shabads, a lot of Gurbani, a lot of history, and they would go and sing at the Gurdwara every day.
Yeah.
But it just all depends on us. Are we willing to accept them back into the Panth? Are we willing to support them?
I don't think many people know about them. That's the thing, first of all, isn't it?
Yeah.
But this whole Muslim thing and stuff, like only a few years ago I started really learning about this, the Rababi tradition and Ra Kirtan and stuff like that. So I guess that's where the education needs to come in, right?
These people, their grandfathers used to sing at the Golden Temple, at the Darbar Sahib,
right, Guru.
Where millions of Sikhs go, which is just mind-boggling to think of that, Muslims singing at the Darbar Sahib. what we're trying to do now is create a new system where we support these Rababis. So we're trying to support them monthly, giving monthly money to them, donations, where they can get a livelihood of it. And at the same time, they're going to start to record videos of them singing Kirtan.
Wow.
And we're going to try and spread it out there. So try and get the message out there,
That's
but at the same time, support them.
Yes.
And so hopefully we'll bring back that tradition, the patronage system.
And what's really cool on that point as well is that we talk about this, you talk about this lineage, right?
Yeah.
Then who did it start from? We say Bhai Mardana Ji, but then who blessed Bhai Mardana Ji?
Guru Nanak Dev Ji himself. Yeah.
Right? Because when at that time Guru Sahib Ji had done all this stuff that we just talked about, the Muslim and Hindu stuff, that's what was happening all beforehand. And Guru Sahib Ji was staying in a graveyard when they came out of the river. They were doing some, again, it was like a big impression Guru Nanak Dev Ji made, that the news traveled back to their parents in Sultanpur, in Pakistan, in Nanakana Sahib. And they sent Bhai Mardana Ji to go find out what's going on. When Bhai Mardana Ji got there, Guru Nanak Dev Ji said that you're staying with me now, we're going to travel. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji, even before that, already given them the gift of Kirtan. They said that you've got this gift of doing Kirtan now and use it, which they hadn't used. By that time, they then got a Rabab from some called Bhai Firanda Ji, who supplied the Rabab, and then Bhai Mardana Ji played that and was given that. And that Rabab was from heaven as well, apparently, some like Sachkhand.
Wow.
It was from the, can't remember the name, they're like Gandharab, I think they're called. It's like these are the Kirtanis in the heavens, basically. And they'd given that to Bhai Mardana Ji to use. They gave us Beta for free. Yeah. So Bhai Mardana Ji then became Guru Sahib Ji's Kirtani because of Guru Nanak Ji's blessings. That'd be cool, innit? Like Guru Sahib Ji blessed just one person today just to do Kirtan, innit? And their voice just changed and became so amazing. That's like Baba Ishwar Singh Ji as well.
Yeah.
Rada Sahib Wale Mahapurush, like they were blessed by Baba Attar Singh Ji, Mastu Wale Mahapurush, to do Kirtan. So I guess you can kind of see that here today as well, different saints as well. But it was a blessing from Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and then that Kirtan tradition
and it's like
started.
If you think about it, the gurus were like Maharajas. They were the great kings. And any great king would have the best musician.
Yeah.
They would have the best court musician, the best
poets, everything.
Poet, artist, everything. Warriors as well. So it is quite detrimental to Sikhs when we say, oh no, even though he's a really great artist, he's not got a pug, so he can't sing at the Guru's Darbar.
So when we had Khalsa Raj, it was during Maharaja and Ajit Singh's time, right?
Yeah.
And most of the people in that Raj were not Sikhs. Yeah. They're Hindus and Muslims.
Yeah.
And Maharaja and Ajit Singh, as much as many people cussed them, a lot of the things I've been reading about recently, they were a great being. Yeah. A lot of love in Guru Sahib Ji, and they accomplished a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff they accomplished, right? And even just that thing, they had that vision of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, that it wasn't about converting people, right? Because that's what probably happened today. You got all convert, like people are so boxed off in the way they think. They think that if we had this Raj, we wouldn't let Muslims do what Muslims do, or Hindus do what they do.
Sikhs nowadays want to conform into one group, like one Sikh Rayat Maryada, which applies to everyone. But actually, that's not the case, because there's a really nice analogy that I remember learning about in one of those Puratan Granths about if you have many different flowers in a garden, that's so much more beautiful than having just one type of flower.
Hanji.
And like I think that's the same case that in Sikhi, in the Panth, we need to have unity in diversity.
Yes.
And even though we're diverse, we're still united. We have different. I remember watching that video of Bhai Jagraj Singh in the car when they had that Katha Kar series.
Yeah,
do you remember?
That was cool, man.
I think it's that video, and they say that if you look at an army, you have people in different regiments. You have like the medical officers, you have like the scientists, you have the soldiers, artillery. And it's just such a good analogy for us now that the Sikhs, we have all these different type of regiments, these different type of groups, but they always work together. And that's the main thing. We can never put one person down from another regiment just because he does something differently.
Yeah.
And historically, that wasn't the case.
Hanji. And just on that point comes to Guru Nanak Dev Ji. That's what they came to spread in the world, that unity. Guru Granth Sahib Ji starts with a number, right? Ik. And that's when they started traveling them with Bhai Mardana Ji and Bhai Bala Ji and spreading that oneness, that trying to remove this division. of titles and color and all this kind of stuff. Saying that, look, you're all one. You can all live together in harmony. Well, and just a beautiful quote I thought I'll just mention. And then I think we should probably call it a wrap as well.
A wrap. A veggie wrap.
How do you say it then? How do you say it?
You say, let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap the same thing then, innit? Wrap the veggie wrap up, innit? It cost me more time for my grammar, right? But they say, somebody said about Guru Nanak Dev Ji, they say, Tare gine jata hai. There is many stars in the sky. And you can count all those stars. But tare means but, basically. Tare na ganata hai. But you cannot count how many people Guru Nanak Dev Ji has saved. I think that is kind of fitting because all these examples you talk about, it's everybody sharing that love for Guru Nanak Dev Ji. And there was a lot of people that fell in love with Guru Nanak Dev Ji even today.
Yeah.
And a lot of things that we can talk about. Again, we've only not even touched the surface.
Yeah.
I just talked about, the whole, and I like what we talked about today because it's different. The whole Pakistan, India, Muslim, Hindu thing that people talk about, but just giving some context to it. When it comes to marriage, these are big topics, man.
Yeah.
In what's it called again? Right now in the world, what people have to say about marriage, but realizing that for Guru Nanak Dev Ji get married, it was all about love with Vai Guruji.
Yeah.
And it's even for us today, anyone who gets married, we're so focused on the he or she, as in I'm marrying this person, but you don't remember that we're marrying a guru as well.
Yeah.
Right. And then the whole Bhai Mardana ji and the Rababi tradition. And it was all about singing Guru Nanak Dev Ji's praises. Like we talked about that example of that story of that father and his daughter and him saying he's going out to praise Guru Nanak Dev Ji.
Yeah.
The way it was put, it was just, I'm probably getting it wrong now, but what he said there, he just smashed it, man.
Yeah.
In that line, it was in my head, I was like, that is Sikhi.
Yeah.
And that is what we've lost. Even somebody who may look like myself has the start and a beard, some kind of beard, and get a barn and stuff. That is Sikhi. And that's what was Guru Nanak Dev Ji's message. And that is the same message of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, but this is the foundations that we've lost.
It's like there's a shabad in Gurbani, I can't remember it, maybe you do, where Maharaj says about the scholars or the Brahmins who are having a discourse and the house is on fire. And then, so they're talking about God, but the house is on fire. Okay. Rather than getting out of the house, they keep on talking about who is this, what is that, why is that? But the house is on fire. I
love that. That's amazing. And that is the problem today, that we're all on fire.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that we're in our lives, we're all burning, but it's like your house is on fire. Why are you so concerned about these things, right? The whole world is on fire and we just and I think that's what the world is doing today. They've done it for so many years. It's causing division. And a lot of the issues we see today, people are making these different groups to kind of support themselves and their movement. Yeah. But by doing that, you're causing more division. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj didn't, and then they use Guru Sahib Ji's words and stuff to kind of support them. But you're using words to cause more division. And we're so ignorant. And that's why I don't get involved in half these debates and stuff, because it's all about division and Guru Sahib is all about union. So where we can do positive prachar, we can share history that is obviously referenced and building faith in people, do that. If it's just going to cause, debates and all this kind of stuff.
And even that on its own about prachar is such a big thing that listen to someone who is got faith in Guru Sahib themselves.
Yes.
Nowadays, a lot of the translations we've got are from people who don't have any faith in Guru Sahib.
They're trying to go against.
Exactly. They have hidden agendas.
Yes.
A lot of the initial people, the colonizers that went to India and studied the Granths and studied Guru Granth Sahib Ji and Sikhi, they had a hidden agenda that how do we put down these people?
Yeah.
And how do we show that how we are the greatest, how the British traditions are better than the Sikh values.
There you go.
All of that kind of thinking has been passed down in our schools from childhood. It's almost brainwashed us to think that way.
Definitely. So the main point here again is we have to learn about Guru. We have to learn about them from people who have that love and faith in them, and also are scholars. That's why we call them like Sant Gyanis.
Yeah.
Or those saints who are also scholars, saint scholars.
And that's why when you read like Suraj Prakash Granth, it's so beautiful when you listen to the Sakhis and the way Kaviji has written it. I think it's unmatched.
It is unmatched. But again, listen to it from somebody who actually has studied it themselves and has a lot of sharda, a lot of faith. Because if you listen to it by somebody who wants to give it that hidden agenda, who wants to get their point across, right? Who wants to kind of, put a stain on it, then that stain's going to go in your head.
Yeah.
I think that's the key point. You hit the nail on the head. Listen to those people who are going to build faith in you. Don't listen to those people who are going to just put
I
down
always
in you.
remember Ustadi when they say that analogy about the gold coin.
Yeah.
They're like, if there's a gold coin in mud, would you just leave it there? You wouldn't, right? You would take the gold from that, from the dirt and clean it.
Yeah.
And then you would be happy rather than dismissing it altogether. What was more worth?
There you go. And that's what Karanveer Singh talks in writes themselves, that if you had a whole butter of milk, a whole massive bowl of milk, and then a fly went in it, what would you do? Would you spill that whole milk?
No.
If you're vegan, you probably will. But otherwise, you'd take the fly out and drink the milk.
Yeah.
That's the most wisest thing you can do there.
And just on Karanveer Singh Singh, at that time, it was so immense, the seva they did of writing all the Guru Sahib's history down, that literally every historical Gurdwara said, we're going to start doing katha of this Granth. And even up till today, if you go to India, all the historical Gurdwara still do katha of Surya Prakash Granth.
There you go.
Which is just an amazing thing.
100%. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
For your lovely time. And hopefully we can continue these. And when it comes to Guru Nanak Dev Ji podcast, maybe there can be like its own section in it. Like Guru Nanak Dev Ji podcast. But definitely different topics coming up in the future. So that's where you can work your magic and, find these great guests.
Yeah.
And then we can both probably sit on this side of the sofa.
Yeah.
If we can both fit.
We'll figure out the logistics
And get more people on.
Yeah.
But again, we thought it'd be nice to start off, again, getting Guru Sahib's blessings, starting off with a podcast about Sikh Guru Nanak Dev Ji. But definitely going forward, having more topics, more discussions. We're very sorry if we offended anyone for all the mistakes that we've made.
Definitely. I know I made a lot of mistakes.
Well, we all make mistakes, man. Trust me, afterwards we'll be sitting there like, why do we say that for? Yeah. But again, just talking to the camera, and for those who are listening, we know we make mistakes. We try our best not to. We try to research, but at the end of the day, mistakes do happen. So do please forgive us, and give us your positive feedback and, constructive feedback. And hopefully things will only get better as we keep doing these as well. Yeah. And we keep having these conversations. Thank you so much. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.